Okay, so I shot a game last Saturday at Western Kentucky University, and I kind of wanted to go through this with you. So first of all, I'm using a Canon 600 f4L IS1. I'm using a Metabones IV adapter with the latest firmware update from Metabones, and the venerable A9 with a vertical grip. So one of the things you cannot do is use wide area autofocus, so that sometimes my images are a little bit too centered for my liking, because you really only have the center area. So I mostly shoot center AF. Sometimes I will switch to the really, really tiny small version, but mostly it's this. Over here you'll see that my shutter speed when there's good light is 5,000th of a second, f4, always wide open. I never understood people, still don't understand people who don't shoot long, fast glass wide open, because you're either in focus or you're not. And going to 3.2 and a 3 on a 400-2.8 is not going to help you. Just like going to 4.5 is not going to help you on a 600 f4. So anyway, here we go. We're going to go off and see what we can see. So I love to shoot tight. Football is just, it really lends itself to shooting really tight. Obviously, the lens is very sharp. It's a great lens. I really have always enjoyed the Canon and Nikon long glass. The A9 files are really, really nice. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff to them. This is like a full, like side lit picture, but I still have eyes, so it works. Again, the lens and camera combination is great. You can actually see dust flying over here, stuff like that from where they're hitting each other. You can see the grass and the players. But even more so, you can even see the other players in the reflection of the helmet, which I think is hilarious. Here's the actual uncropped version of that frame. This is the kind of stuff I love to do. You got to look beyond just shooting the ball. You got to figure out where the defense is and what they're up to. You have this guy's eyes. You even have one eye on this guy who's trying to push this guy out of the way so the quarterback can release the ball. In traffic, getting light like this is really unusual. This is Southern California light in the middle of Kentucky, which you take it where you can get it, especially before the time change comes in November. Again, we're at 6400th of a second, f4, 800 ISO. You wouldn't think you'd be at 800 ISO at a day game, but man, sometimes it's what you got to do to get the shutter speed you need. Shutter speed is everything in sports photography. This is a cropped version, and even though it's cropped, it's still holding together really well. 800 ISO, 5,000th of a second. I love this, but this frame needs cropping. You got to get in there to really see that this guy's getting hit in the head with a guy's foot. It's kind of crazy. But I love looking at stuff like this. It's great. And once again, 6400th of a second, 800 ISO. This is from all the way across the field looking through traffic. And the lens, even though there's some delay in getting the AF to activate with adapted lenses, you're still able to do it. You just have to get on stuff kind of quickly. So anyway, here's another frame of a guy running down a running back or trying to. Eyes are everything in football. Love this frame, but it needs to get tighter. There we go. Now it's looking better. And this is like, stuff from the field flying. Once again, you got spit coming out of this guy's mouth. This is all, it's just awesome. And it's so sharp. You can see how sharp it is in the helmet, the patch. It's all clicking. I thought I'd put this in there just because the difference, this is the two consecutive frames of a kickoff. You got the frame right before the strike of the ball, and then you got the ball up here in the second frame. If I had been able to shoot this with an FE lens, like the 100 to 400 lens, there would have been like 4 frames of this ball, because at 20 frames a second, you can really get a lot more. But you can still work at 10 frames a second. It's plenty fast. Again, how sharp is this combo? The lens is great. Here's a little tighter. Here's a little tighter still on the ball. Really nice. It's starting. You can see the noise, but it's acceptable. Look down here, especially on the uniform, where you can see the stippling, and I just love using the long lenses like this. It's great. Again, this is way from the other end of the field. I'm probably on the 40-yard line on the opposite side, and they're probably on the 30. It's a long ways away, but you can still crop. Look how sharp his shoe is down here. It's remarkable. Again, in traffic, once you're used to back button focus, this is a great image that explains why you cannot use front button focus. You just can't, because you're always going to be focused on the wrong guy. It's going to be on this guy. But with back button, you can hit the quarterback, let go. This guy comes in and blocks you, and it doesn't matter. I don't know why I put this picture in there. It's not really a good picture, but it's just sweet. I just liked it. It was clean. It really shows what a 600 f4 can do with a complicated background. This kind of nice sequence here. This guy is running really fast, obviously. You can see all the little pellets from the field bouncing up every time they go. And I can't, sometimes it's like, is this frame better or is this frame better? I like them both. Probably like this one better because you can see his face so clearly. And, he's really off the ground. And just neat. You see the blocker in there. I love shooting football, man. Can you tell? Here's the quarterback release. And again, this is, if I had shot this with an FE lens, the quarterback would have been way over here instead of in the middle of the frame. I would have to crop this image like, more like that in order to make this work. And by the way, we're up at 6400 ISO right now, 600 f4. I'm at 1600th of a second. I try not to go lower than 2000th, but, whatever. Just a nice little frame, both guys off the ground. This is a heavy crop again, and it works. Now, this is a series. This is in wide area autofocus, and this is not with the 600 f4. This is with the 7200 2.8 G Master with a 1.4 converter. So it's effectively become a 100 to 300 f4. And I can shoot at 20 frames a second. Now, the guy with the ball is blocked completely. And so because I'm in wide area autofocus, the autofocus is picking up this dude here who's on the ground. But as you see the consecutive frames coming, you're going to start to see the guy, the running back with the ball right here. And even from here, look at the difference between this frame here. So this guy is sharp here. This guy's a little soft. But I'm moving the camera to the right a little bit. I'm panning as I'm looking for the ball. And as I do that, now this guy's out of focus and this guy's in focus. And as I continue to do that, you'll see that he is coming into the same plane now, in for the touchdown. Now you can see the ball very clearly. And again, the A9, 20 frames a second, working in traffic really tight. It works. And touchdown. I like pictures like this. They often get edited and deleted out because you have to get in close to see what's really happening. Now, these are 2 consecutive frames. Boom. This is back to the 600 f4 now. And then you see the eyes. You even see that this guy's eyes are shut, the guy that's trying to tackle him, and this guy's feisty. He's looking for more yards, obviously. Way from across the field. This is a series, and I had this on Instagram, and people just love these little pockets of peanut butter and jelly back there. People just, they just ignore the picture because they just love these guys back here. So maybe you're one of those. You can kind of look at and see what happens. So here's a quick succession of frames. Just showing that, the camera's able to totally track. It's great. Here's an attempted block kick that doesn't work out, but I have an eyeball and I'm sharp. This guy's sharp. This guy's sharp. It's great. Even in traffic from a long distance away, the 600 can really reach out and still blow out the background. So this is a nice, okay frame. I can tell I shot it with a Canon because it's centered, and I would want him over here looking this way. But here's the next frame and how I've cropped it up. And again, this is 6400 ISO, big crop, no problem for the A9. I want to talk about 2 things at the end of this video, the Western Kentucky game. One about the A9's files, and then the second is about cropping. So first, the A9. I like to say of the A9 that, like its younger brother, the A7S II, they're very stretchy, bendy files. I really like toning these files because they're easy. No matter what you do to them, there's always a highlight that's recoverable, and shadow detail that can be exposed to the frame. And you can usually pull highlights and shadow and mess with exposure and still be left with a picture that doesn't look like it was horribly photoshopped. And I really, really like that. The other thing is the low light performance. Hopefully in the video that you saw how tight I like to crop. Cropping is a super important tenet of sports photography, and sometimes people feel like the whole frame is like sacred somehow, and this is not the case in sports photography. You crop the crap out of stuff to make it work how it's going to be best for the image. So I kind of wanted to put a smattering of images in there where you could see how I'm cropping too. Thanks for watching, and again, if you find usefulness in any of the things that I say in the video, please feel free to subscribe so you'll get more in the future. Thanks so much for watching. This is Sony artisan Patrick Murphy-Racy.